Monty Python and the Meaning of Life.
Right.
Give me a bucket,
Yes.
I'm going to throw up.
All right, just one more.
It's only a wafer thing.
Yes,
man.
wafer thing, exactly. That is one of the great movies of all time. Mr. Creosote.
I'm going to turn everyone down and then turn back.
Why is he doing that? It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in the bar today, we're at the fabulous Wayfair on Ferret Street, which is just a couple of blocks down from Napoleon Avenue, where they have a 4-hour happy hour here every day from 3 to 7 and an entire brunch on the weekends. During happy hour, they have half-price drinks and half-price food. I think the price of the food is full price over the weekends at brunch, but still totally worth it because it's all pretty cheap. Happy Hour is brought to us today by Strategic Resumes. If you want to sharpen up your resume, your LinkedIn profile, or other job search skills, start by going to Strategic Resumes. And if you want to get away, start your travel search at Travel Central and Metairie. It's kind of like going on Expedia or one of those other things, except it's an actual human being who does it for the same price, which is free. Basics Swim and Gym has a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. You can get a cover-up or a bikini or yoga clothes at Basics Swim and Gym next to the Basics Lingerie store, Basics underneath on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. And thank you to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. Go to hdestroyer.com. Write Happy Hour on the coupon code and get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer, and you too can seize the dawn. And thank you to the Positive Vibrations Foundation, who create and encourage community through the development and preservation of the arts, music, culture, and heritage. And Andrew Duhon is not here today, but if you're looking for him, you can find him in a town near you. Go to andrewduhon.com and you can buy his new album, or steal it, actually, off Spotify and other places you steal music. It's called False River, and it's well worth a listen. Thanks for joining us here on Happy Hour today. Amy Boyle Collins is here. Hey, Amy.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic today.
And you are the vice president of Beignet Fest.
Sort of.
Well, already I'm fucked up. It's what it says right here. Look, can you read that? How can I be wrong after my first sentence? What are you at?
I have the pleasure of being the vice president at Gamble Communications, a PR firm here in town. And then my husband started Beignet Fest, and I'm along for the ride with that venture as the co-founder and the board chair of the Trudeau Foundation, which is the nonprofit that benefits from proceeds from the Beignet Fest.
Okay, let me try all that. Amy Boyle Collins is the vice president of Gamble Communications, and she's also along for the ride on what?
Beignet Fest.
Which is owned by what corporation?
Well, it's a nonprofit board.
Board.
Yeah, the Trudeau Foundation.
Trudeau. How do you spell that?
TRES. Second word DOUX.
Oh, so it's like
very sweet.
DEAUX.
DOUX.
So Trudeau. Actually, that's pronounced. So tray is 3 and do is sweet or something?
Sweet. Very sweet.
So it's very sweet.
Just like a beignet.
Not 3 sweet.
No.
So tray like très bon.
Yeah, exactly.
Trudeau. Okay, the Trudeau Foundation. Okay, I have to do that one more time. Anyway, how's Beignet Fest going?
Well, we're ready. It's October 6th, and we can't wait. So things are getting a little crazy.
Well, you haven't made the beignets yet because they'll be horribly stale.
Yeah. We'll make them that morning. Or throughout the day, actually.
Okay.
33 different kinds.
33 different kinds of beignets?
Yeah, all in one place, City Park.
Did you guys know there are 33 different kinds of beignets?
No, I didn't. I didn't even know there were 2.
Right. Good point. How can there be 33? This is the voice of Jack Miele, by the way, spelled M-I-E-L-E.
That's correct.
And Jack Miele is an award-winning musician and engineer and producer. Is that anything else I left out?
No, that's it. And a hell of a nice guy.
And a hell of a nice guy as well.
Touche.
There you go. And not...
Well, that's yet to be seen.
And this is JT Seaton.
Yes.
Which stands for Jeffrey Thomas.
Jeffrey Thomas, JT Seaton.
JT Seaton is also in the festival business. Let me see if I can screw this up. JT is the... where did I write this down? Here it is.
Here it is.
He's a writer, filmmaker, and director of the NOLA Horror Film Fest. That's correct, right?
That is correct.
You are the actual director of the Horror Film Fest.
Yes, I started the Horror Film Fest in 2011, so this is our 8th year for the festival.
Okay, do you live in New Orleans?
I do not.
That's what I suspected, because just before we went on the air here, you were asking us how to pronounce Metairie, which is a bit of a giveaway.
It was, yes.
So where do you live?
I live in Los Angeles, California.
And how did you get to start the New Orleans Horror Film Festival?
Well, the short story is, I started it with a filmmaker friend of mine, and we were shooting a short film in New Orleans in 2010, and that's when we discovered that New Orleans did not have a horror film festival. So we kind of like raised our hands and said, well, we'll do that. You know, I didn't live in New Orleans. He lives in Mobile, Alabama. So neither one of us actually lived here when we started the festival. But, you know, we needed to start the festival because New Orleans needed to have a horror film festival.
Why?
Because of all the cities in the United States, New Orleans, with its history of hauntings and vampires and voodoo and ghosts and all of that stuff, you know, you would think that it would be the perfect place for a horror film festival.
So how do you pull this off if you don't live here?
With a lot of help from people who do live here.
So you swoop in.
I swoop in and take the glory.
Where do you live when you come here?
I live wherever Airbnb puts me.
So you have an Airbnb for how?
I do.
For a couple of weeks?
Yeah,
For how long?
for 8 days.
8 days?
8 days.
8 days is enough to put on a major film festival.
Yeah, I know, but the festival's only 4 days, so I have 4 days of that 8 days to myself. Well, not really, but I have a lot of work to do.
I was about to say, I'm sure you're
So
working.
the Beignet Festival, how long does that take to put on? I guess it only
A
takes
whole year.
like 2 days.
No, it's a one-day festival, but we work all year fundraising and attracting food vendors and doing the marketing.
Well, who's
and
making
getting
all these
people in.
beignets? Let's go through them. It's,
Sure.
There's the
So
Café
we have
du
Cafe
Monde.
du Monde, of course.
After
which is,
that, where do we go?
Yeah. So then you have New Orleans Coffee and Beignet Company. They'll do traditional beignets.
New
And then you have
Orleans.
all kinds of good stuff. Like Katie's restaurant does crawfish stuffed beignets with jalapenos and cheddar cheese. You have this great little caterer on the West Bank in Algiers Point called Off the Hook that does fried lobster and
Fried
beignet.
lobster beignet.
And beignets together with a shrimp beurre blanc sauce
who
on top.
on God's earth fries a lobster?
Well,
I would eat fried lobster.
yes, Miss Tiffany Lane at Off the Hook fries a lobster.
Jack, you
and it
travel
is
all over the world and around the
delectable.
country. Have you ever heard of fried lobster?
I've never heard of fried lobster, but
It's in our
You
own
know.
backyard, and it's fantastic.
The other thing that Jack does is also in the Molly Ringwalds,
I am.
Oh,
which is how he gets to travel all around the world.
That is
so,
true.
who does catering for the Molly Ringwalds?
It depends where we're playing.
All right.
It's like, you know, every
Do you have-
show is different. Some have great catering and some have no catering. So you would think
Is that right? That's not part of the operation? Because you're out
sure
on the
it
road
is.
all the time.
Well, sure it is, but it doesn't mean that everybody obeys all
riders.
all
Is
the
that
time.
right? Well, how does this work? I thought you guys had this ironclad contract with riders, and they have to provide this and M&Ms and all.
Well, that's actually what's funny. That the famous Van Halen M&M story. They said they used to put that on the rider to see if people were actually reading the rider, and that they didn't care about that. But that was like the test. If they walked in and they were brown M&Ms, and they knew they didn't read the rider.
Oh, wow.
So that was the whole reason why they did that, supposedly.
And is this true? Then people don't do what you want.
Absolutely. They'll give you whatever is easy. You know, they ignore stuff all the time. Even though it's, you know, and you could be a jerk and say, you know, hey, we're not playing. Screw you. We don't care.
Because we didn't get the
But at the same
fried
time,
lobster.
you know, we just traveled in a bus 8 hours, you know, to like, you know,
Right.
I'm not going to, I'm going to, you know, to play the gig, and there's a bunch of people waiting and we get paid and all that stuff, you know, so.
So it's not that important whether they have the fried lobster ready
Yeah,
for you or not.
right. We usually do pretty well, so.
Have you tried one of these fried lobster beignets, Amy?
I have. They're amazing.
What is a fried lobster? Is it got
So it's-
breadcrums on it? I mean, or
So it's
batter or
battered
what?
and fried, and then there are beignets in the same dish, and then it's all covered with shrimp beurre blanc. So it's not really fried lobster in a beignet for that dish. It's sort of together with some stuff on top. So a lot of people will put stuff on top of the beignet. They'll stuff the beignet. Of course, Loretta's. I don't know if you've ever heard of Loretta's. Famous pralines. She
yeah.
puts her pralines inside of a beignet.
Okay.
She puts crab meat salad
So I
inside
don't
of a beignet.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is this majorly for pot smokers? Is that your main audience? That's what it's sounding like now.
Anybody who's hungry, really. So children, it's a very family-friendly festival. So lots of children and families come out and eat lots of beignets.
Don't
Children
forget
are very
fat people.
hungry.
They're always hungry.
Yes, fat people are fabulous. You know what, though? Honestly,
people are fabulous. Can I
it's
write
the
that down?
skinny people who are the most hungry. Can we not talk about
Is
skinny
that right?
people who eat
Have
a
you
lot? That drives me crazy.
Skinny people are the most hungry. Well, I guess they can eat anything they want.
I have a son, and he can eat and eat and eat, and he is scrawny as anything.
Well, that's because he's like, what, 12 or something?
I was about to say, wait till you hit your 40s.
Yeah, I thought that too
I've
for
hit
a
my
while.
40, so I understand that part.
How old is he? 'Cause that's...
Oh, he's 7.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that doesn't count.
that's ridiculous.
His
Yeah.
metabolism is like going like the speed of a hummingbird.
It
you know?
is.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be great to be able
Yeah.
to eat anything, but
Right.
unfortunately we have to pay the price for that now.
Right.
after
Well,
you
we
get past
even
40.
have gluten-free beignets, so even if you're, not eating dough, you can still come eat some beignets.
How do you do that? How does that work?
We'll have to ask the Girls Gone Vegan who do them. They're a baker here in town. I think it's almond flour.
Girls Gone Vegan. Aren't
Yeah.
you allowed to eat flour?
Yeah, they do a really good job, actually.
They're
Their
amazing.
cakes are fantastic.
Yeah.
But aren't you allowed to eat flour?
I'm not
if you're
vegan, but I like
vegan?
their stuff. It's almond flour, like from the nuts.
But why wouldn't you be allowed to eat regular flour if you're vegan? There's nothing...
No, you can, but if
Wheat
you're
can't
doing
run away
gluten-free-
from
It's a gluten. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
gluten-
gluten.
Gluten-free. Oh,
Sorry.
oh,
So
yeah,
Girls
yeah.
Gone Vegan do gluten-free.
I got to tell you,
Girls Gone
almond flour
gluten.
is pretty good.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's expensive, but it's really good.
Do you bake?
I do. Me and the wife love to cook and bake and stuff.
What do you bake? What do you like to make with almond flour?
Well, there was a minute where we were on. When I say a minute, probably a year, where we went paleo, and
How did you like that?
it's hard as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I'll tell you what, it worked. I'll give you this. I felt better. I felt more. I didn't feel as lethargic, and I felt more energetic, and I didn't. I wasn't as sort of grumpy and tired during the day, and like this time of day I would usually be crashing because of all the sugar that's breaking down in my body.
Right.
But when I went, all that went away. It went away like almost overnight.
And what exactly do you have to not eat? No sugar?
It's
no carbs?
think
or
like
what?
a caveman. You have to. It's a lot of protein. It's a lot of is very little sugar. No beans. No legumes. Legumes. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a word, definitely.
That's
Fancy,
actually a
though.
word. Yeah.
It's a fancy word.
No. For some reason, you can eat like almonds and cashews and nuts and shit, but you can't eat peanuts. I don't know why.
Okay.
But
No bread, no
peanut-
alcohol.
No alcohol?
No alcohol, no bread.
No bread, no alcohol.
So what do you
can
have,
you
say,
can
for
have
alcohol.
breakfast? That
You can
knocks
have
out
pork
breakfast
chops.
completely.
You can actually have red wine and you can have dark chocolate, but you can't
Okay.
have like grain alcohol, anything like
Vodka,
whiskey or
gin.
vodka or anything.
Okay,
like
so
that.
you can't have alcohol or toast. So
No.
what do you have for breakfast? For a start?
breakfast you can have
Let's knock that
you can
out.
have eggs. You can
Okay.
have bacon, sausage.
You can have
what-
bacon?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can have
bacon is so good.
You like bacon, JT? You're
Oh,
a
I
big
love
fan of
bacon.
bacon?
Who doesn't love bacon?
Who doesn't
who
love?
doesn't?
Well,
I love bacon.
vegans.
Right. That's bullshit. Vegans love bacon. They just don't
They
eat
just
it.
don't eat it.
Okay. Bacon was not even that popular until, I don't know, a few years ago. What happened to bacon? Is there... You're in marketing, right, Amy?
Yeah.
Is there like a bacon people's association?
Oh, like the Association for
Like
the
a
People Who
vendetta
Consume
against bacon?
Well, how did
against
we all
their floor.
suddenly find bacon and ice cream and bacon and chocolate and bacon?
Yeah.
Why?
I think the right chefs start integrating it into their food, and then everybody starts doing that. But I mean, bacon is like forever.
It's not that great.
Oh,
Is
I
it
love
really
bacon.
that great bacon?
It is. It is.
It
really
depends on
great.
how it's
It
cooked.
is.
Absolutely.
It depends on how it's cooked, also. You know,
Okay.
if
How
you,
many ways are there to cook bacon? You stick it in the
Well,
frying
if you don't, right, but if it's not crispy or if you don't, if it's cooked like shit, then it's not. It's just greasy
or
and
like
nasty.
microwave bacon.
Yeah.
That's
That
no
is
good.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I'll still eat it.
You just see
I'll still
something
eat it.
about bacon.
It's
I don't
bacon
think,
flavored cardboard.
I
at
don't
that
think
point.
people used to say this about bacon a few years ago. Though this is all new. This I love bacon. Yes.
Grant, you ever heard
food
of
fads,
Epic
man.
Mealtime?
Heard of what?
Epic Mealtime.
No. What is it?
It was a YouTube channel from a couple years ago, and
Yeah.
I really think they could be credited with the bacon craze.
C-Rock. That's
The
what
bacon
started
boom?
The
They
bacon
were
boom.
dedicated to putting bacon on everything they could, and this was
Okay.
maybe in 2007, 2008.
That's
so.
about when it started.
Yeah.
Thank God there's an explanation. Good job, C-Rock.
Well, that's
There you go.
just like
From the back row, huh?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
just like coffee,
C-Rock
man.
knows everything.
People
Coffee?
don't you remember what? We're old enough to remember. Like, coffee used to be bad for you. Like, it was, you can't drink too much coffee, too much coffee. Now it's like everybody's telling you to substitute breakfast with coffee with butter in it.
Yes.
and
What is up with that? What is
it's-
that called?
It's called ghee
Rock-
butter. Ghee butter.
Yeah, but what is that drink called that people drink now? That's meant to
Well-
be actually healthy.
I used to work for a company.
Do you know that, JT? You're from California.
I used to work for a company called Bulletproof.
Bulletproof. That's what it's called.
Well, Dave, what the hell's Dave's last name? Dave, it's like Asaberry. I can't remember his last name. But I
Did
used
he
to,
invent it?
Yeah, I worked for the company. I did videography for him, and
Okay.
and I did a lot of video editing and audio editing and stuff. But he sort of is the brainchild behind it. But basically, it's it's coffee. It's a supercharged coffee, whatever the hell that means. Supercharged coffee with ghee butter in it that you're supposed to have all morning, and then you're basically not supposed to eat until like the mid-afternoon, late evening, and then it's supposed to be like almost paleo. So, I mean, of course you're going to lose weight. You're basically just amping up your system with a bunch of, it's almost like natural amphetamines, Like,
Right.
let's just pump up our metabolism and then eat once.
So you work for this guy. So you shot.
I used to work for him.
You shot video of him saying how great this was. Like
Yeah, it was
promotions.
a
So
big YouTube phenomenon. Like it was like every week they had it was a big celebrity deal where every week it would be him and a celebrity, and they would go back and forth, usually Skype, and they would go back and forth talking about it and how it changed their life, and it's the greatest thing ever.
Well,
and
it's supposed to do something for your brain.
supposedly.
So what is the logic behind that? Did you ever catch that?
I watched so many episodes that supposedly the logic behind it is that it gets the neurons to fire better, or it's
Is it a bunch of bullshit?
I don't know because I never tried it.
Are you serious?
I never tried it. I don't. Do I look like I want to drink coffee all day with butter in it, and then like
I wouldn't want to drink it one time. But
does it look like I just drink coffee all day? No.
I thought you would try it if you're working for the guy, and
I actually
it can't be that convincing then.
To me, I basically watched it and went, this looks like a bunch of
Bullshit.
fucking malarkey to me.
Right.
But whatever. I mean,
sounds horrible. It's
If
got
people say it works, it works. Maybe it works for them, but it's not the only thing that works.
But everything works if you believe it works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, that's what placebos are all about.
Exactly. Everything works. So what part of California do you live in, JT?
I live in Studio City,
which is the home of the
Universal
movies.
Studios.
What street do you live on?
Ooh. I live on Fruitland. There you go. I said it to the world. Fruitland.
You live on a street called Fruitland.
I live on a street called Fruitland.
That's interesting because a lot of your films have a gay theme.
Yes.
JT, what exit do you get off on?
Xerox from out that way too.
Oh, it's like what serious exit I get off on? Ventura Boulevard.
No.
Just like in
off
the
the
movie.
101. What exit do you get off?
Yeah, Ventura Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ventura Boulevard's like 38 miles long.
Well, there's a Ventura Boulevard exit off of the 101.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that shows how much I know.
So you live on Fruitland, and you make gay-themed movies.
I do.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Do you have a movie company called Fruitland Films or something?
No, but I should.
That is a good. That's a brainchild right there.
Isn't it?
I'm going to write that down
Write
for
it
you.
down.
Put it on the tablecloth.
Grant might need a
10%.
check for that. Yep.
Do I
10%.
can you represent me in that, Amy?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We
Get
can
you
make
some-
it part of
Get you
trade
some
due.
credits. Yeah.
Fruitland
Donations
Films.
can go back to Beignet
Hey,
Fest.
have a look up that, so I can see if anyone owns that.
Fruitland Films.
If no one owns Fruitland Films, we'll buy it right now, fruitlandfilms.com.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm not going to buy it. You can buy it.
I
For
can buy it.
99 cents.
We'll go,
Is that how much it costs now?
Daddy. I'm sure nobody wants it.
GoDaddy,
It's going to be
yeah.
cheap.
Nobody
We'll go-
wants it.
Well, you know what I mean. I bet there's not 1,000 people lining up to
I bet you $100 somebody already has it.
Do you think?
Absolutely. I bet.
100. Okay.
Maybe
Let's
50.
do it. Right there. Okay. So you can stump up the $50 for Fruitland Films.
How about I just
Be your
buy
first
Fruitland Films and I'll
investor.
sell it to you for $50?
Hey,
buy it.
wait a minute.
Come on,
buy-
let's buy it right now. Go to GoDaddy.com.
I'll buy it for $9.99 and then
Are
you
you-
can buy it for me for $50.
Okay.
Well,
No,
hang
that's
on.
the other way around. You lost $50. You
So
didn't make
you buy it
$50.
for me for $100 and then we're even.
Geez, I can see why you're successful. I can't even follow that. You just lost $50. Somehow you have to end up paying $50 for Fruitland Films.
Well, I did. He gave me $100 to buy my domain Fruitland Films, and I'm going to comp him the $50.
Does that make sense, JT?
It does.
Because you come from California. You're like in the film biz, right? Okay, this is great. So we have a new film company.
We have a brand new film company.
So let's come up with a story. Well, we need to come up with a movie. So what do you make? So you make horror films. I watched a little bit of a couple of them this afternoon, actually.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yes, I was pretty interested because it's a whole different world. I never knew there was a gay horror genre.
Yeah, I mean,
Or are you it?
No, I'm not it. There actually is a booming culture, and they're basically calling it queer horror.
Queer horror.
Queer horror.
That's excellent.
I have a friend, a writer friend, Michael Verade, who runs a queer horror panel every year at Comic-Con, and he's been doing it for the past, I think, 5 or 6 years, and it's been very popular and very well attended. And there's a lot of gay and lesbian filmmakers out there who are making horror films.
So
Matt, I'm sorry.
Go, Joe.
I was going to say, as a fan, a huge fan of horror movies, is it something where is the genre more having to do with the directors and the writers, or does it have to do with the storylines as well, or both? Or you're saying that there's a whole genre, a queer horror film genre. What connotates that or constitutes that?
I'm not necessarily there's like a whole bunch of queer horror films, but there are a bunch of queer filmmakers who are making horror films,
okay, so
and a bunch of
yeah.
horror films, a bunch of gay and lesbian fans of horror, and I think the reason that gay and lesbian and transgendered and bisexual people enjoy horror films is because they identify a lot with horror, because horror deals a lot with being an outsider, the horrors of society or things being put upon people. And so there's a lot of identification that comes with being, a person who is identifying as, gay or lesbian or queer or bisexual or transgendered, that they can identify with the characters in a horror film because of what the characters go through.
Okay, that is one of the scariest things I've ever heard.
That's pretty deep.
Just being a gay person in society makes you feel like a person trapped in a house with a poltergeist.
Yeah, sometimes it does.
That's how you feel every day.
Or maybe it makes you feel like the poltergeist.
No, it doesn't, though, does it? That would be great if you felt like the poltergeist. Or you're saying
it depends on what the poltergeist is going through in the story.
I'd want to feel like Zelda Rubinstein.
Who is Zelda Rubinstein?
From Poltergeist.
From
She was the
Poltergeist.
medium.
That's the girl's name. But the poltergeist is usually the evil.
Tangina was the character's name.
Hey, good work. So you really do like it.
I really do. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan.
Are you going to the NOLA Horror Film Festival?
I actually have been looking at it for weeks now to go.
What have you decided to go to? What are you going to go
I don't know.
see?
I haven't. This is the first brochure I've got, but I've been seeing the ads just in general that
Well,
it was
what
coming.
should we go
that's good.
see?
You should see everything. You should buy a weekend pass right now and go
Okay.
see everything. Stay at the Britannia for 4 whole days
How
and
would
don't leave.
how would we buy a 4-day pass?
From the website.
But NOLA Horror Film
From the
Fest.
NOLAHorrorFilmFest.com. Also,
Okay.
the Britannia has links to the ticket sales.
Yeah, sorry, I'm stealing.
Oh, sorry, I'm just looking at
Our Facebook page, NOLA Horror Film Fest Facebook page, has links to all of the ticket sales as well.
So is it non-stop horror films for 4 days at the Britannia?
Yeah, but it's not just horror. There's we have a science fiction block, we have a science fiction feature film, we have fantasy films, we have horror comedy, like a horror comedy shorts block on Saturday night at midnight. On Friday night at midnight, we have I can say it. What the fuck? Short film block, which basically is just a bunch of crazy films. It's like
sounds good.
John Waters and David Lynch on acid.
Oh wow! So what time is that? That sounds
I
pretty
thought
cool.
David Lynch already was on acid.
Isn't he?
right.
That's Friday night at midnight.
And when you say Friday, that's this Friday.
Yeah,
coming up,
it's
which
coming
is,
up.
What is the date?
20th?
20th, I think.
21st.
Friday the 21st is the What the Fuck screening at midnight.
Okay.
Saturday the 22nd is the comedy shorts screening at midnight. But, we have stuff going on all weekend.
This is great. So are you
fun.
making any money out of this, or are you doing it like Amy is giving away the proceeds?
Well, right now it's all the money's going back into the festival. We're hopefully going to be, in the black this year. That's right. In the black?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. We'd like to be in the black this year instead of in the red. So, but I think we will.
So you've lost money up till now.
I have lost money
And
before.
who's funding all this lost money?
Whose
Money have you been losing?
Well, some of us, who've been involved in the festival have put our own money in for certain things.
So you're like a big shot Hollywood guy who comes to town and puts up his own money for a film fest.
Yes.
Wow. What about that, Jack?
Andy wears a cowboy hat.
He doesn't even need your $50 for Fruitland Films.
That's impressive. It really is.
That is.
Yeah, I very much admire people who put their money where their mouth is. So,
Well, thank you.
congratulations to you.
Yeah, nice job.
Hey, I got a quick question. How is this festival different than something like the Overlook Festival, which is also delving into horror as a genre?
Well, a lot of horror film festivals do overlap, and there's a lot in common with them. Specifically, the difference between the NOLA Horror Film Fest and Overlook that came in this year. We don't even know if Overlook is going to be back next year, because this was Overlook's second year for the festival. The first year they actually had it at the hotel in Oregon that Stanley Kubrick filmed for the exteriors for The Shining for the Overlook Hotel, which is why they called it the Overlook Film Festival, because they were having it at the actual hotel. And then they decided to make it more of a traveling film festival, and they came to New Orleans in April of this year. And but we don't know if they're going to come back or if they're going to go to a different city. But the Overlook, I think, is more like curated films, like films that were seen at other film festivals, or that the festival directors basically have contacted the filmmakers and curated that film for the program. There are very little actual submissions to that film festival from filmmakers, as opposed to our festival, which is all submissions. Well, 99% submissions. I did reach out to one film and ask them to submit, but most of the films that are screening at our festival were submitted by filmmakers to hopefully get selected and screen at our festival.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
This is the third annual, second annual?
This is the 8th annual.
Eighth
Yeah,
annual.
we've been
You
around
lost money for 7 years.
for 7
Wow.
years, yeah.
I'm out of the
You
loop. I'm
must
sorry.
really love doing it. Yeah, you're supposed to be a horror film fan, Jack.
Well,
Why have you been to the
because I'm never available on weekends.
You're
I'm always
out
gone.
on the road.
I'm
Are you
gone.
here this weekend?
No, I'm gone this weekend.
Where are
too.
you going to be?
Mississippi, and I'm playing in Gulfport, and God, I don't even remember where else. I have to look at my schedule, but
Right.
I know I'm in Gulfport on Saturday.
So how does the whole gig work? You get up in the morning on a Saturday morning or Friday night, get on the bus, or
Yeah, we it's usually Friday midday. We'll meet at the bus, and then we go out of town. We play the 2 gigs, and then we'll either come home Saturday night or Sunday day or Sunday early morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
right? And you've been doing this for now how long?
almost 20 years.
20 years. Most weekends.
Yeah, I haven't had a weekend off. Well, I mean, that's not true. I've had weekends off, but like we've been pretty much on tour constantly for the last 20 years.
And do you have a sub, someone who plays your part
No.
in the band? It's everyone just has to
Everyone,
get up and do it.
it's a commitment. It's a life commitment. Basically, it's a job. There are no subs. Out of 20 years, I have missed 2 shows, and I was almost dead. Both of those
because
shows.
of
One of those shows I think I had like 104 fever and couldn't play, and then the other show I think I had chicken pox.
Wow. But no one in the band needs to do this. Well, there's a full-time gig for the other guys, except you
it's-
have another life as well, or is do they all?
Of the 5 members, I'm not going to name any names or anything, but of the 5 members, 2 of them do this solely as their gig.
Right.
Because I mean, we do well.
Yeah.
And then the other guys in the band, the other 3, some have other bands, some. I'm in the music industry. There's other guys who are in the medical industry who do stuff during the week, and
Right.
that's basically what happens.
So you could totally afford to fund the NOLA Horror Film Fest
Yes, you could.
out of the proceeds
we could use
from
it.
the
We-
Molly
we
Ring.
could
Wait a
use
minute,
it.
hold on.
Or Beignet
Oh,
Fest.
Beignet Fest.
I would totally donate my time to score something from the horror film festival, because I do a lot of film scoring and a lot of TV scoring.
Well, we would love that. Like maybe do like a trailer for the festival, because I do a trailer. I cut a trailer every year for the film festival, and I always have to buy
Would love to. do it.
some music from like Audio Jungle or something
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
would love to
Ah,
do it.
that's perfect. There's your $50 paid off.
There you go.
There we go.
Awesome.
It's a
Hey,
deal.
and you've been working American Idol as well.
I have.
As on top of your
have.
other 2
I
full-time jobs.
just finished my commitments to them this year, because now they've switched to the sister show, which is America's Got Talent.
Is that owned by the same people? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
Yeah, it's Simon
I didn't know
Fuller.
that.
I thought they'd be competitors.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no,
Simon's been on both.
Yeah, Simon Fuller, but it's not Simon Cowell that owns it. It's Simon
okay.
Fuller that owns it,
Okay.
and so I think Simon Cowell does have an interest in it, but it's there's them and the voice is
that-
Mark Burnett.
That's not owned by the same
That's
people.
not owned by the same people. That's the competitor.
That's the competitor.
So,
is it all still going, actually?
Oh yeah, it's all still going. I basically am a U.S. Southeast talent consultant. Basically, what I do is I find people and I bring them to the producers and say, these are the people that you need to check out, and they check them all out and give them private auditions outside of the cattle calls, and then either accept them or don't.
So you're like an A&R guy for
Yes.
American Idol.
That's exactly what
Who
I
have you found? Anybody?
I found a bunch of people. One guy who I found, Mikey Duran, actually, I think he went second week of Hollywood or something, but he did really well. This was actually his second time. The first time he went to Hollywood too. But I found a few people.
If you're doing A&R and you're out there looking for people, why would you give them to American Idol? Why wouldn't you sign them yourself to your own label? And
Well, it's kind of now you're digging deep there, Grant. All right, so I'm A&R for a blues label called NOLA Blue. Oddly enough, out of Pennsylvania. I know.
Okay.
But it's a strictly trad blues label. Like they like traditional blues, and that's it. As far as the pop world, to be honest with you, why I haven't started my own label, I don't. That's not what I want to do.
Right.
Now, you say I know how to run a label and come to me and say let's do this, then I'm all in. I have the talent, I have the ability to make the records, I know how to get all of that to the front of the funnel. What I don't have is the ability to take it from the front of the funnel to the waterway.
I'm very surprised that somebody has not approached you and said that exact sentence. I know how to run a label. Why don't
Are you hearing this, world? If anybody hears this out there, contact me.
So you can do all the back end, find talent, develop talent, make records. All you need is someone to sell it.
I want to make records,
right?
And that's what I'm good at. And I'm good at finding talent, making records, and making the record sound as good as anything on the radio. What I'm not good at, I don't even say not good at, what I don't want to do, because I do have a business mind, but what I want to do is make records. I don't want to sit in boardrooms and talk about how we're going to, this is the next move, and I don't want to do all that.
Yeah, I worked for 10 years at Universal Music and Universal Music Group, and the music industry is so changing, and it's so changed so much that a couple of years ago they laid off basically half the department because the music industry is so different, and the department that got laid off was basically the physical sales, the physical product.
Absolutely.
CDs, LPs, cassettes, and things like that, because people aren't buying those anymore. People are streaming.
And even A&R guys have been replaced by, the whole department has been replaced by one guy in a YouTube channel.
Right.
I mean, they're just scouting people like that.
Right.
And that's even with Idol, I was doing that. I would find people. Wow, this is. I found this 16-year-old kid out of Texas. It was a little girl. Man, it was like she was 15. It was like the re-embodiment of Robert Plant in 1969. It was unreal to watch her sing.
But why do these kids need you? Why can't they just call up American Idol?
Well, they can, but who's going to listen to them? Who do you call?
Right.
All right, say you want to call American Idol. Who do you call?
I don't know, but they have these things where you see lines of like 1,000 people lined up with their guitars.
But what I do is they usurp all that.
Circumvent all that.
Yeah, right. So you have an in. You're in direct contact.
But you have to find me, though. I'm not... Right. Your name's not out there somewhere.
But I have had people, via social media or whatever, find me and they've emailed me and said, will you please listen to me? And I always do, and I've gotten people auditions like that too. Wow. And had them make it, So it happens. I always tend to I like to help people, So when somebody says, please help me, I'll listen.
Okay. Well, you never know.
Right. But what do you got to lose?
Can you help me with my Jazz Fest schedule? Because my absolute favorite thing to do is to find that one act that nobody's talking about that year, and then 2 years later they're
I need to see the schedule, but sure, I can do that.
I'm gonna call you about
that. Could be a good consultant type.
I love to go hunt all the new talent at Jazz Fest and see.
I got a bunch of bands.
Samantha Fish this year blew me away. I mean, I know she's not unknown, but
no, I know, but I mean,
she's not on every.
It depends on what you personally like or whatever. But I just finished producing a whole ring of bands that were just great, man. Just great, young. Nobody knows really.
Well, tell us who they are.
Well, there's one band that absolutely blew me away. A band called Sinclair. That Cinclare. They're from Baton Rouge.
Really?
They 3-piece band that they sort of sound like a cross between the Beach Boys and the Shins, and they 3-part harmony. Everybody's a great player, and the songs are just great. And they're 23 years old, but they have such an old.
Oh, the kids today.
What did you used to do there at Universal Music Group?
I used to do physical. I used to do.
So you were one of the guys who sold records.
No, we used to do the publishing rights and royalties for physical product.
Oh, nice.
So we would basically pay the publishers and the writers for the sale of their physical product.
So you're a filmmaker who can also knows how to run the music business.
A little bit.
Almost like a music supervisor.
It was definitely a music supervisor.
This could be a good hookup for you.
I have to mention.
This could be the guy.
I got to mention one more band, the shameless plug, but a band from New Orleans called the Iceman Special, which that band is. Okay. I'm telling you, that band is gonna be something really good, really big.
How would you describe it?
They're sort of jam bandy, but at the same time they're old school. They remind me a lot of gosh, I can't even really explain it. The singer sounds like early Sting or something, or he's got a higher voice, and it's really crystal and good. Wow. But there's a lot of there's 2 brothers, Will and Charlie, bass player and the singer, guitar player, and then there's an older gentleman, Steve Staples, who plays guitar, who's killer guitar, but he owns International Vintage Guitar.
Okay.
And he's the guitar player, and then they have Hunter Ramiro on drums, and they're just a 4-piece, great band.
Are these guys brought to you by a label, or are you funding all this stuff? Are you?
No,
are you out?
they are either they fund or they have funding, but I was lucky enough to where I did a record for the guitar player John Fole, and they heard that record and were like, who the hell did this record? And they found me. And that's sort of how me and John go way back, and we had a great time making that record. But
he's a great guitar player.
Yeah, it's
he
great.
He plays with Dr. John and all those guys.
Yep.
Yeah, he is a great guitar player. Do you play anything, Amy?
I'm tone deaf.
Is that right?
And I don't watch horror movies, I'm afraid.
You can't watch horror movies.
I'm feeling a little out of place here.
Because you can't.
Because I do this when I watch. Well, on the radio, I'm covering my eyes.
Yeah, I know, but you can look through your fingers, though.
I try.
Yeah.
You could go to JT's movies because you won't relate to any of the characters at all.
What's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
7.
Oh, me?
Oh, no. I was asking her. I was asking her.
7. Is that the Fincher movie?
That's probably not even scary.
Fincher movie, yeah.
Oh, it is scary.
You worked with Fincher on...
I did work with Fincher on Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know him as well, JT?
And Benjamin Button was scary.
For
different reasons, though.
I just saw a movie that blew me away recently. That I didn't know anything about it, and I rented it, and I thought it was great. It was Hereditary was what it was called. It was fantastic.
What's it about?
It's
Tony Collette. I won't give anything away because there's a huge twist about
it's great.
30 minutes into the film that you don't want to give away. But Tony Collette and Gabriel Byrne, and it's basically a family drama that plays out with horror elements. And at the beginning of the movie, Tony Collette's mother has passed away, and they're dealing with grief. So it's another one of those films. And one of the things that's great about horror films is that, you can talk about certain things without being overt. Like, Hereditary is basically about grief and loss and how you deal with, the losing of a loved one, or how you deal with, grief in a family and situation, because everybody grieves differently.
And how it tears a family apart.
Yeah, and how it tears a family apart. So it's like, but those are like the undertones of, the horror film, and then there's still horror elements on top of that. You don't have to like hit people over the head with your message in a horror film. You can kind of like subtly, sneak those things in, and that's one of the reasons why I really love horror movies, is that, they can be scary and entertaining and fun, but they can also have, socio-political undertones to them.
So you're making...
There's one jump scare in that whole movie. There's not one jump scare in the whole movie. It was terrifying.
There's a couple of jump scares.
But like nothing that was cheap shot.
Nothing like The Nun, that's out now. That's basically all jump scares.
Right.
So are you saying, JT, that people like you make horror movies with some sort of larger intent, like you're trying to actually achieve something rather than just scare people? There's a message?
Yes, I do. And I think that there's a lot of that has been changing in the industry. I mean, you're starting to go back several years, but, you look at films like The Babadook or, It Follows or The Witch,
I love It Follows.
Or,
one of my favorites.
I mean, you're looking at films now. I mean, if you haven't seen The Babadook, I mean, The Babadook is basically kind of like, a variation of The Shining. It's about, a mother who is like going crazy. And it deals with insanity, and it deals with the overwhelming of being a parent, of being a single parent, because the husband had passed away, and so there's all of these social commentary elements that are involved in the film, and then on top of that, there's a scary creature, called the Babadook. That's actually really scary.
How did you not use Get Out for this example?
Oh, yeah, Get Out is a perfect example.
The most overt socio-political commentary.
Yeah. Academy Award winning Get Out.
I got to say, It Follows is one of my favorite new horror films of the last decade, easily. That movie is fantastic, I thought. I watched it 3 times. I thought it was good.
What's that about?
The whole thing is an STD
metaphor. It's about STD metaphor. It's an STD metaphor. He's totally right.
What's the metaphor for STD?
Well,
or maybe it's about like growing up and confronting sexuality.
It's about all of that. That's the thing. It's like it's not just one thing. It's about the STD, and that, but it's also about growing up in middle America and being a teenager and finding your sexuality and finding out who you are. I mean, it's a lot of stuff all wrapped up in one.
I also thought that it was a metaphor for responsibility. That you have to live with the decisions you make. If you do something, you can't just sweep it under the rug. It's going to follow you, and that's sort of what I got out of it too. And I love that the movie is set in some dream time. There's no specific era. That's like there'll be like a scene where you're like, oh wow, it looks like it's the 80s, and or it's the 70s, and then they have smartphones, and it's really bizarre. Like there's all this cross pollination of time. Like all the cars look old, but then everybody has a smartphone. It's weird.
Who made that film, JT?
I don't know. I don't remember.
It's the same director. Yeah, I don't know the name of the director. We'd have to look it up on the Internet Movie Database.
David Robert Mitchell.
There you go.
There you go. 3 names. So good they named him 3 times. So do you
3
think
first names at that.
Is any of this working? Are these horror films like yours and other people's having any effect on society? Are people...
I think so. I mean, obviously, I think Get Out was a huge, not only being a huge financial success, but also a critical success, and getting political point across about that we're still dealing with, even in 2018, racial issues, and so I think it was very successful and very popular, in making a change.
So it does. You think it does work? It does have some sort of social change or ramifications, making horror.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
I also think it's the last bastion of the independent filmmaker. It's where an independent filmmaker can come really and make a film that can be super successful. I mean, just like Halloween, the first Halloween, it's like it was just a small indie film that they did, but it became one of the biggest films of one of the biggest grossing films, and especially in horror, if not of all time.
Yeah, and influential. I mean, you look at Friday the 13th came about because of Halloween. I mean,
right.
It's so influential in its reach. But that's the thing about horror and being indie, is that horror itself is the star. It's like you don't need a star, actor to be in your film. Well, there's no big actors in It Follows. There's no big actors in The Witch or The Babadook. Or even really Get Out. I mean, Catherine Keener, and Bradley Whitford are like the biggest names in that movie, but they're not stars. I mean, they're not, The Rock or Tom Cruise.
Right.
I'll tell you who the biggest star is here at this table.
Who?
Have a guess.
You?
No, Amy.
What?
Amy was City Business Woman of the Year in 2017.
Thank you.
And she was
one
also...
of like 30, but yeah.
It says here, Woman of the Year.
Yeah, there's 30 of them.
30, that would be Women
30 women.
Yeah. It's the City Business Woman of the Year. There's like this contest. So there's 30 of us, and then one person gets put on the cover.
Is a contest?
I wasn't on
the
the
cover.
cover.
You were on the cover?
No.
Is there like a swimsuit?
The nun was on the cover.
There was a nun?
Yeah. She runs Catholic
Pretty
Charities.
hard to compete with a nun. Is there like a swimsuit
No.
or how does it work?
No, it's all about how carry your briefcase and wield your pen.
Okay. And also you were the 2017 YLC Young Leadership Council Role Model of the Year.
Yeah.
How about that? That's not connected, though.
No, Young Leadership Council.
You were the Woman of the Year and Role Model of the Year. So you had a big year last year.
I did. Well, and part of that was from doing Beignet Fest. So,
Hey, maybe you'll get to be Role
that.
Model of the Year,
Yeah.
JT.
Ooh, that'd be
You have to give
exciting.
away money.
Oh, dang it.
Do you?
I know. Well, he's giving away money in his own sense. He is working toward a higher purpose and putting his money where his mouth is.
Is there a queer version of Role Model of the Year?
They're probably.
Role Model Queer of the Year.
Yeah.
That's even better.
That's even better.
That could be our first Fruitland Films production. We have like the Academy Awards for Role Model
For Role Model of the Year.
Queer of the Year.
How does one become a Role Model of the Year?
It's a nomination process, so they
That is a good question.
accept nominations. So the Young Leadership Council is a young professionals group in New Orleans, and so the mission there is leadership development through community service and community engagement. And so they then recognize other people in the community who are not necessarily young professionals anymore, and there's a big gala, and it's a fundraiser for the organization. So people are nominated,
Which
and then a
organization?
committee. It's called the Young Leadership Council.
Mm-hmm. And are you the person who started Wednesdays at the Square?
I'm one of the persons who started Wednesday at the Square.
So
yes.
that was your idea, or one of your.
Well, so here's what happened. Before Hurricane Katrina, the Downtown Development District actually started Wednesday at the Square, which is a 12-week concert series downtown. And the mission or the goal was to get people to not only work downtown, but to also live and play downtown, which seems foreign to us now because our downtown is so vibrant. But back then, pre-Katrina, again, the Downtown Development District cited this as one of their goals. The Young Leadership Council, which took it over after Katrina, actually provided the volunteers to work the series. And so DDD came to the Young Leadership Council and said, hey, we're going to shut this down because we really got to work on things like blight and rebuilding our downtown post-Katrina and make sure the FEMA money is spent right and blah, blah, blah. No commentary on that. And so we said at the YLC, myself and some of our board members said, why don't we take it over and then we can just run it. Well, when we did that, all of the parameters of only working with downtown businesses and sponsors were gone. And so we were able to raise a whole lot more money from sponsors throughout Greater New Orleans, get bigger bands, and...
Okay, so just stop right there for a second.
Yeah.
How did you make it successful? What did you do that made it a success when it wasn't one? How did you make more money and get bigger bands? And
corporate sponsors. So we were able to go out there and raise more money. So when you run a festival, the trick to running a festival is twofold. It's getting people there to spend money at the festival, but before that, it's raising the right amount of money so that you're covered, especially outdoor festivals, in the case of weather or in case nobody shows up, which, you know, is probably not going to happen in this city. So really getting a good corporate mix for your event is the way to success.
So that will work.
So we raised
only work for 1 year though. If you got a whole bunch of money for Beignet Fest, say, and then no one shows up, and the corporations aren't
correct, they would go away. Right.
Year.
So the key there is to build sustainable relationships and really deliver and fulfill your corporate sponsors' promises, and that's really what I'm sort of specialize in. So I almost become each of my sponsors' little marketing director or mini marketing director, if you will. So I make sure that they've got the best experience and the best fulfillment and activation at my event versus anything else they're doing, because they're probably sponsoring 10 other things. But if I can do my sponsorship with them the best, they're going to bring me more money year after year, and they're going to want to be with me longer.
And how do you know how to do all this? Did you go to school for this?
Well, I started in sports marketing. So I started working for sports teams. And so that's really where this became a craft, right? So like the sports teams, they do this better than anybody else. So I worked for Super Bowl. It's been here 3 times. I've worked for the hockey team. We had a hockey team in New Orleans at one point.
You worked for them. Okay.
Yes, I was the little
ice girl. That was Ray Nagin.
It was.
So you worked for Ray?
I did.
How was that, actually?
It was fine. I mean, you know.
Do you still talk to him now he's in jail?
No. I mean, I was very young. And so I didn't talk to the owner very often.
Send him videos.
Yeah. So I did my job, and we actually had the 6th largest attendance in our league in the ECHL. But the NBA was coming, and that was all politics, and it was all, we were, no matter how many people came, we were still going to get our lease, was still going to be broken. And
that was a big
NBA
deal
was
for a
coming.
while there, though.
Yeah.
People love that. Do you ever go to the games, Jack?
I didn't actually. Well, you know what? I think we played.
You were working.
I think we played. I think we played one. I think we actually played one. I think we played outside the arena. I think one time.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah. So the sports teams do it the best. They deliver. So
that's how you learned how to do it.
That's how I learned to do it. And so then I just brought the same approach to sort of local events.
And are you hoping to turn Beignet Fest into a big deal like this? Like
I would love
Wednesdays
that. Yeah, this will be our 3rd year. Last year was kind of a hiccup because Hurricane Nate, which was not ever any threat, but the city got all verklempt over it, caused us to reschedule from October to December. So we lost a lot of momentum. But the first year, we had too many people.
Wow.
And so then we moved out to City Park from Lafayette Square. And
so that's where it is now.
Yeah, we're at City Park. So we think
on October the something.
October the 6th. 10 to 6. So we think we'll have about 25,000 people out there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you come and work at my festival and
Yeah.
get 25,000 people to come to the?
As long as you don't make me watch one of the movies.
You don't have to watch any of the movies.
I'm sure they're wonderful. I just get scared.
See, it's an amazing skill to have, isn't it? You can have all the great ideas in the world you want, but if you can't sell it.
Yeah, you need somebody to. I mean, that's why artists, need people to.
Yeah.
To help them.
Right.
Find their vision. I mean, it's like because those of us who are do create art. Are often just kind of like scatterbrained, especially when it comes to any kind of business sense or whatever, and trying to get sponsorships and trying to get money and trying to find money for your programs.
You seem to be good at both of those. You've crossed the line from being a filmmaker to now being an organizer?
Yeah, but this year, we haven't really had any sponsorships. You know, and the sponsorships.
This is a big day for everybody at this table.
Yeah.
Because Amy's going to come and
Sure.
save you. Jack's got himself.
Probably not this year, since we
Right.
since we
Well,
are
it's a little
starting
late,
tomorrow. It's a little
considering
late
it's
for this
tomorrow,
year, but next year definitely.
Of course. Yeah,
You
that
think
sounds
you can
great.
afford Amy though?
I don't know, maybe.
We'll talk
Probably.
after.
We'll
Let's
talk.
see how
We'll
Fruit
talk.
Gone
Yeah.
Films does
We'll see.
between now and then. Jack, you've got a guitar here. Let's make you play something.
Yes.
What do you?
I was hoping I was going to get out of it.
You can get out of it if you really don't want to do it, but
I'll do
when
it.
you guys like to hear something?
Play,
I would like to
play,
hear something.
play,
Yeah.
play.
I would also like. Where's Colin? Where's Drinks by Colin?
Oh, you want to? Colin can get you a drink. What
Yeah.
would you like?
Can you sing Blue Moon?
Blue moon,
See, there we go.
you saw me standing alone.
There you go. Okay, so we've got it set up here. We've got microphones
Lyrics.
Lyrics.
on the
Yeah,
table.
I haven't been doing a lot of writing lately because I've been working on other people's records. So this is a one that I wrote a while ago. Well, a little while ago. This is on my original band, the Morning Life's album, the last album that we did a couple years ago. It's a little happy song called Sunshine. Let's see if please forgive me if I screw it up. So. Never thought that I'd be talking to you. You know I feel for sure that less is more. Baby, I forgot my manners where you're concerned. It's such a burden, but now I've learned. And I say, and all the things that I've been wanting from you, it's time to make a stand. So what's your man? No, never put me something you've never seen. I could be the king, you could be my queen. I say, I believe that you will see that everything is beautiful once again. And it's not the end, but nothing lasts forever, girl. I can't stand it, you can mend it. And if the flower never gets the chance to grow, you're the sunshine on my mind. You, baby, won't you give me just another chance to make some other plans? I said to you, and I could jet it to some other place. I came by myself. Now you're thinking that I'm understanding. I know it feels so good. Oh yes, we could. Oh, the sunshine that I feel is inside me and it's real. And now you see, so let's be free. I believe that you will see that everything is beautiful once again. And it's not the end, but nothing lasts forever, girl. I can't stand it, but you can mend it. But if a flower never gets the chance to grow, you're the sunshine on my mind. You're my sunshine, and you're the sunshine on my mind. There you go.
Nice.
Love it.
That was very nice. Okay, is it called Sunshine on My Mind?
It's just called Sunshine.
Sunshine. I like that. Thomas, did something happen to my microphone here, or is it just... What is going on? There we go. Okay.
There we are.
Okay. I like that a lot. Sunshine. And what do you do with this once you've written something like that? Do you...
Put it on an album and released it, and
Right.
you know, probably the biggest leg up we got on that one was we actually had in Universal music artists, which I cannot name, call us interested possibly in putting it on their record.
Covering it?
Yeah, covering it.
Okay.
And it ended up not happening, so that's why I'm not able to disclose anything. But we did get the call. But that one's on a record by The Morning Life called "The Sound of Collapse."
The Sound of Collapse is, and the Morning Life is your band as well.
Yeah, it's my original band. It's sort of
You got a lot going on.
well, I would say it's sort of I don't want to call it defunct project, but it's a project that's been sort of put on open-ended hiatus because our guitar player passed away. So so because of that, we finished the record. He passed away in the middle of the making of the record. So we finished the record, we dedicated it to him, and then we all sort of went and did our thing. And who knows, maybe we'll make another one, maybe not. That was
that's a bit sobering.
That was our third record too. So, but it's a cool record. It's on iTunes and Spotify and all the places where music.
And it's normally the drummer that passes away. So that's
no, right? It's usually the Keith Moon, right?
Yeah. That's pretty sad. Is that someone that you were were friends together for years?
Oh yeah, we were in that band. We were in that band for probably 8 years or something, and then I've been friends with him since I was 19 or something.
Right.
So
yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to bring down the happy hour.
Well, terrible things happen.
Yeah, life is life.
Yeah. Well, you got missed. Yeah, it's sad. What did he die from? Some natural causes or
suicide?
Well, that's natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
tough.
Shit, that's pretty bad when you're that close to somebody. And
it's and I wasn't going to mention it, but at the same time I was like, you know what? As far as like an awareness thing, I've lost a few people to that method, and it's something it's still happening in droves right now, and it's a very real thing.
It's very hard when someone kills themselves who you know, and you can't help thinking, why didn't they call me?
Mm-hmm. I know. It's funny. I called him the night before. He didn't answer. Wow. So, and it was before he had done it too. So, but it's just the way it is, and we deal with it and cope with it. But that song was one that we wrote. I think it was the last song on the record that we wrote. And we said, let's just end with something happy, please. Because the rest of the record that's why we call it the Sound of Collapse, because we figured, well, this is what it's going to sound like, of us just trying to. It was a coping movie,
Right.
Yeah, coping album. Excuse me, we talk about movies and everything. But yeah, it was a coping album. So, but it's a great record.
Maybe we could use it in the Fruitland Films soundtrack.
We could, or Fruitland Films could, we could do a documentary about the
there
the
you
band.
go.
Oh, there we
There
go.
you go.
Yeah.
What are you working on at Fruitland these days?
Well, after the festival, I have a couple of other things going on. I actually shot and edited and did sound design and color correction and sound mix and art direction and a bunch of stuff for a short film called He Drinks. It's He Drinks. Drinks. It's
that's a good.
Yeah, my friend Michael Verade wrote and directed it, and it's actually starting to screen at several film festivals. I was actually at a film festival a couple of weeks ago where it screened, and
what's it about? Is it a short or is
it's a short? It's basically it's a gay themed short. It's about a couple who goes to therapy, and it's because one of them has a drinking problem, but it turns out to not be what you think. It's a comedy.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And
Sounds
then
fun.
It is fun. And then I have a feature film that I'm writing that I hope to shoot next year.
Is there a part for all of us in that?
There is now. I'm gonna go back and write it all in now.
I want to be the crazy old lady who drinks gin all day.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you have in mind for yourself?
That's kind of
for
what I
your
want to be
future?
when I grow up.
That's what you're looking towards.
Because I'm so between the lines all the time now.
The crazy
I just
cat
want to
lady.
be.
You'd like to be able to
I don't
let
like
go.
cats though.
You like to be able to let go and drink gin all day.
Yeah.
And you think that will make you crazy, or that
No, I think I want to be crazy first, and
you'd
then
like
that's how
to be
I'll
crazy.
cope with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think being crazy is like?
I don't
I
know.
think that's
Free.
going to be pleasant. I think that's going to be
I'm
free.
such a
of it.
type A, like everything has a checkbox, and this is what we're doing next, and everything has to. Which is probably why I don't like horror that much. It makes me feel uncomfortable, right? Which is the
It's
point.
supposed
Yeah,
to be.
yeah.
So anyway, it's the antithesis to that when you get.
So you think that?
You retire, you don't have to
But
check
you
all
think
the
you
check
think
boxes
crazy people
anymore.
are happy? Is what's the misnomer
I'm
here?
saying
I think.
crazy in a sort of lighthearted way. I
Right.
don't necessarily want to be like mentally insane. I just want to be a little.
You want to be free of the strictures of normal
I
everyday
want to be that
society.
lady you see.
You
at
want
the
to be
festival.
eccentric.
Eccentric.
That's
a
a
great
better
word.
word for
Yeah.
it.
It's a much better.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been an eccentric
Right.
woman.
Right.
Drinking gin all day.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have
Cats or no cats?
no cats, but maybe
Okay.
some dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you better stay in New Orleans because
I
it's a
know.
good spot.
My
for
husband's
that.
probably like, "What is she talking about?" That is not what we talked about with the financial planner about retirement.
Are you down on the quarter? Do you live in the quarter yet? Because that would be a good place
I
for
live in the
that.
suburbs.
Where do you live? In Metairie?
We're in Algiers.
In Algiers?
Yeah.
That's not the suburbs. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's like part
I
of
mean,
New
I can
Orleans.
see the river.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so that's New Orleans. I would say.
but yeah, I mean,
You can see the river in Metairie too.
yeah.
Just go to
You just
River
have to
Road.
tiptoe.
So this is a good plan for you. Okay, you're looking to be an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Eccentric.
Just a drinker. I wouldn't say having alcoholism, but let's not go too far.
I think a person
now.
who drinks all day, especially gin, probably is regarded typically as an
Okay,
alcoholic. But
what if
you
I
don't
started
have to
at
call
4?
yourself.
If I started at 4, would I still be an alcoholic?
Not sure what the technical.
I think 5 is probably
Okay,
that's the safe.
I'll go to 5 then.
The
But
safe
happy
one is-
hour is here starting at 4, right?
Well, there you go.
Well, yeah,
It's see, but
it's
when you
true,
start
okay.
when you start like cutting work, when you're getting off like
But
an
I'll be
hour early, so you
retired
can
by
go
then.
drink.
drinking, but she's not going to be working at all. She's going to be retired and super wealthy because she's businesswoman of the year.
There
Perfect.
you go.
So
yeah, that doesn't always
This doesn't
correlate.
sound like the sort of thing that a businesswoman of the year in other cities would say, but this is New Orleans
Right.
after all.
I told you it was the antithesis of
Yeah.
what I am now.
You're looking to
Yeah.
be the anti
yeah.
Amy.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
How old would you have to be to get to that, though, do you think? Like 60 are you aiming for? Or?
That'd be good.
Okay, so that's
60 would be
60.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
If I could retire
Wonder
at
if we're gonna-
60, I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't cost that much to buy shitty gin, I'll tell you that.
Well, I didn't say I was going to drink shitty
You
gin.
want good gin.
Duh.
No retirement in the plan here, man.
You don't have a retirement plan at all.
It's not that I don't have a plan. I don't want to retire.
You want to just keep working.
Yeah, I just.
You want to die on stage?
It's because I love what I do. No, I'd probably like to. I'd like to die at home with my family, but I.
Wow.
But you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like I think I love what I do.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
JT,
So-
what's your plan for dying? 'Cause we have to get out of here right now, so this is the final word.
Alone on a beach.
Okay.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's not Grand Isle Beach. Because
He doesn't get that joke, though.
I don't get that joke at all.
it's like dead fish everywhere, and like it's.
It's not romantic.
It's not very
At all.
romantic.
It's not California
Alone
Beach.
on the beach. Okay.
Yeah, California beach.
And you would die of old age alone on a beach.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking sad, actually.
No, why?
No.
No.
Alone
Are you
on a-
kidding? Dying with
You
sand
like
between your
that?
toes? Absolutely.
By yourself, alone. That's the bit that's
You can
No.
have plenty of sand between your toes when you're underground.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
have
true.
to worry about somebody being around and you can just deal with it and just do your thing and
Quietly slip away.
Quietly slip away with the waves lapping at your feet,
What
That
the
is
jellyfish
a-
can
And
be.
you don't need sunscreen.
and you don't need sunscreen because you don't have to worry about the after effects of sunburn like I have right now. Like, I seriously have sunburn.
You do.
I do.
It's because you haven't got your hat on.
I
Well, back to
know.
this. Okay, JT Seaton, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
on
you
Happy
for
Hour.
having
Good
me.
luck with the NOLA Horror Film Fest, the 8th year.
The 8th
Hopefully
year.
this is the year you make some money. Next year you're going to make a lot of money because Amy Boyle Collins is going to be running the whole show for you.
Sounds
We'll
good to
see
me.
how that goes. And Jack Miele, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having
Hopefully
me.
see you guys all again some point. Before we go anywhere, I have to tell you about this information here about Happy Hour, who brought it to us today. If I can find the information. Where do you think it is? Oh, here it is. Strategic Resumes is responsible for bringing us Happy Hour today. If you want to sharpen up your resume, your LinkedIn profile, or your other job search skills, check them out at Strategic Resumes. And thank you to Travel Central Elementary. If you'd like to get away, you can start your travel plans by checking in with Travel Central. Basic Swim and Gym has a full range of swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. We can get them at Basic Swim and Gym next to the lingerie store, Basics underneath on Magazine Street. And thank you to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover at hddestroyer.com. You can write the words Happy Hour on the coupon code and get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer. The Positive Vibrations Foundation creates and encourages community through the development and preservation of arts, music, culture, and heritage. And if you'd like to be a part of our Patreon family, for as little as $1 a month, you can join the Happy Hour family by going to patreon.com and searching for It's New Orleans Happy Hour. False River by Andrew Duhon is the name of Andrew's new album. It's out now. Wherever you steal music, you can find that, or you can even buy it at andrewduhon.com. You can find out if Andrew's in a town near you by going to his website, andrewduhon.com. And thank you very much, everybody, for being here. JT Seaton, Amy Boyle Collins, and Jack Miele. That is Happy Hour for another week. I'm Grant Morris. Graham DePonte is the producer of our show. Christian Unruh and Monique Pilar are our music producers. Thomas Walsh is our technical director. Asher Griffith is our Facebook Live feed director who put this whole thing on Facebook Live. Our fact checker and social media connector and the guy who knows everything is Andrew Searock. Searock, our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright for about an hour while drinking alcohol, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can find many more happy hours that we produced previously to today's show, as well as other shows we make here, including Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace, Louisiana, Eats with Poppy Tucker, and our award-winning podcast, funnily enough, about death, called Death the podcast. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at it'sacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. And all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our It's New Orleans Facebook page. These photos were taken today by Jill LaFleur. You can find more of Jill's photos at lafleurphoto.com. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, thank you for subscribing to us. Take a moment, if you've got one, to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfair on Ferret Street in Uptown New Orleans. Happy Hours, a production of INO Broadcasting. For itsneworleans.com, for Andrew Duhon, we're back here next week. Everyone else around the table here at Wayfair and back at our office at INO Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. I'll see you back here next week for more Happy Hour.